What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Melvor Hardcore. We are on Gen 2, episode 26. So, what have we got going on this week? First and foremost, I'm working on some magic stuff, working on rune crafting and building up, whatever runes that I need. And this is kind of just busy work at this point. I have a few 100,000 of all the earth, wind, and fire runes, that kind of thing. The elemental stuff, I got some nature stuff built up. The ancient runes I'm working on now, just kind of filler work. I don't need them at this moment, but I do know that later on we're going to need a lot of ancient runes, so I'm working on those. And I'm working on light runes because those go into, let's see here. Those go into auras. The auras. Those go into the auras. I've not really decided whether I'm going to use the auras and curses yet. Once you get into the ancient magics, none of these work with it. One of them does. One of them says it doesn't. I can't remember which one's which, but I'm pretty sure one of these doesn't work with alt magic. Yeah. Specialized magic cannot be used alongside curses or damage modifying auras. So I usually just run this once I hit end game. I haven't bothered with some of the other ones. If you can do, so I don't think any curse goes. And you can probably use some auras, but the problem is I'm always out of those little light runes, so I just quit bothering with them. What I was really geared for is this Nature's Wrath, or what I was really gearing up towards is Nature's Wrath. So if I go over here, I've got the Nature's Wrath staff. If I go and equip that magic and look at here, these are the runes that I have created is all the ones. I have roughly about 140, 150,000 of each of these that I need. And that's pretty much why, is because I want to start using that Nature's Wrath staff, but it uses a lot of different runes. So that's what we're here doing, is just crafting up runes, because I really didn't know what else to do. I did some fishing. I now have almost 800,000 prayer points. It is way too early to be reading that. But this isn't what I was really working on. I did some work on the crafting masteries. Let's see, what did I do in here? I think I leveled a bunch of these up. I think I had a bunch of black dragon hide. So I was taking that. Yeah, I've burned it all off. I think I had a bunch of that. I was killing a bunch of dragons at one point, and I had some of those left. And you can see I'm really tight on space once again. So I was trying to clear out some inventory. And that's why I'm only doing certain runes, because I was just getting blown out with all the other crap that I had. I got to get rid of some of this stuff here. It just never ends. I created a bunch of headless bolts thinking I would get rid of some of these bolts that I have, or some of these gems that I have. Just haven't quite got there yet. I've been working on potions, trying to get rid of some of those, and I need to use some of these, but I've got so many of some of these, it's taken forever to get them used. So I also spent time, let's see here, go back into combat mode. I also spent time, I think this one was good. I'm using the Minotaur and Golden Thief, because Sandstorm Ring generates a lot of money for the Golden Thief tablet. With this one here gives you 25% gold for each melee hit that you do, pretty much. So that's why the Sandstorm Ring and this thing works out really well, that synergy. So I'm set there. I don't think I did anything with those. These I did, and I made a whole bunch of these witch ones. Not necessarily for the magic, but for the ranged, because the synergy here is that he gets, when you're fighting a magic enemy, you get ranged accuracy bonus and ranged strength bonus. And what I've been doing, I literally just got done making a top 5 tips video. And if you're familiar with the combat triangle, basically you put ranged characters up against magical characters, and they get a buff to their attack, and they get buff to their damage reduction and everything. So I figured if he's going to be attacking magic stuff all the time, I'll go ahead and equip this witch on there, get the synergy with the centaur, and use that. I have been using the synergies in combat. Maybe not be so good about them in non-combat, but I have been using them in combat. So I wanted to get him geared up. I had to create a bunch of centaur stuff. I think that was this guy here. I should have. I guess I sold him. May have sold him. So I had a bunch of arrows. Yeah, I guess I sold them off. I'm sorry, bows. I had gone into fletching. I got up a bunch of trees. I think it was willow. I chopped down a bunch of willow trees, converted them into willow short bows, and then took that in and made them into the centaur tablets. And those are those, and that's what I used. I really need to make some more of those so I can adequately stock because I would love to have a few 100,000 of each of these. You know, I've got a couple 100,000 of the Minotaur, a couple 100,000 Witch, and only 60,000. It's not 80,000, only 60,000 of those. I like having an enormous stack of those because they go quickly. So, if you can't tell, I'm gearing up for combat. We have all these skills done. Everything's ready to go. And I have level 85, at least 85 in all my combat stuff. So I can start. It's really tempting to jump into the god dungeons. I really want to start going into these because I can gear up fast. But I'm just not quite ready for that yet. I really want these to hit 90s first, or I want these all at 99 first. I want this done. I want my Steam trophies or achievements or whatever the hell they're called. I want those done before I go get myself killed. I say that, but then I've started running these elite tasks, and that's kind of what stopped me. I wanted to make sure I had the synergy here so I could take this fight on and get a bonus for it. Plus, if you notice, I got some pretty shitty gear. I really need to gear this guy up. Now, speaking of gearing up, let's see. Before we do that, let me check here. I have 27 more elite tasks to do. I've done, 3 so far? But speaking of gearing up, I sat down and let my range guy roll on this Hall of Wizards. And I let this thing go for like a week. I think this was going through like the last video or something. I don't know. This thing took forever to get done. Where's he at? This thing. 953 clears. To get a goddamn hat is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It took forever to get this ancient wizard hat. Like the chest piece and the robes are the robes and the you know what I'm saying, the chest and the legs are usually the hardest things to get, and that hat is like the easiest. I think it's got the best drop rate out of these 4 pieces of gear, or the boots, but it was the last thing I got. But I've got the pet. I've cleared that entire dungeon out. I've got all the items for it, so that's done. This is the best gear that I can give this guy outside of the god dungeons. This is the best gear I can give this guy, my melee, outside of not the god dungeons, but the volcanic cave. Once you get your melee into the volcanic cave is when you can start gearing him up, and then you start gearing up your ranged magic, and then you get your final set of melee gear out of the earth god. Let's see, your melee comes out of the elite chest in the volcano. You're going to get the shield, helmet, plate legs, and plate body. And actually, I would probably go for 2 of these shields so that I could equip 1 on my ranged character. Let's see. Once you beat that 100 times, which is going to take several hundred times to clear all that gear out, you can beat the infernal, whatever this thing's called, the infernal dungeon. And if you beat that 10 times, you can upgrade your claws to the infernal claws. Take your melee character from the combination of these 2 into the air god dungeon, gear up your ranged, go from, once your ranged guy's geared up in the air god dungeon, take him into the water god. You will gear up your magic, and then take your magic guy, your fully geared magic guy, into the Earth God dungeon, and he will gear up your melee guy with all the melee gear. So that's basically how that proceeds. And then, if memory serves, you take the range guy into the Fire God dungeon. I want him fully decked out. That's the dungeon that's killed me the most, I think, out of these four. The Fire God's like the only one that's killed me. On my standard account, I was able to roll through all the content up to the end boss of the Fire God dungeon, and then I died. On my adventure account, I died like 3 times with the range guy, but I think I was trying to attempt that a little bit too soon. So if I'm going to go in here and die into any of this stuff, then I want all my achievements. We're knocking on the door being done with that. So working on getting that done. I now have, as I was showing earlier, I have the best gear that my melee character can get, aside from this Slayer stuff. But I have the full dragon set. I need to work more on the volcano. I need to go clear. What I really need to do is take my magic character into the dragon's den and clear this out and get all of this gear and get it all upgraded for my ranged guy. Number one, this is going to be a completion account. And number two, I need to work magic up to level 99. And number 3, I could really use the gear because this gear is kind of ragtag. The Black Dragon gear is great and all, but it's only good to a certain extent. Especially once I start doing this elite stuff, I really need to have better gear. So that is why I've been working on prayer points and runes and all the tablets and synergies and everything. This I just got up and it's been running, so that's why I don't have another synergy here. I think I didn't have much. I think I was running the pig with this for a very brief moment. Let's see, where are you at? Crow and pig. Yeah, because it gives you a chance to preserve resources. I think that was the one I was using. I think I used the dragon one for a little while. Like I burned up some of these. It gives 10 fire runes while creating elemental runes, but you have to be creating elemental runes. So you have to be careful what you're creating to make that kick in and work. But that is pretty much where we're at. And where I plan on going forward is to take my magic character into that dungeon and let him run through there and kill off the dragon's den. That's going to be my big goal for the foreseeable future, is to clear that out. I do need to clear the Myelite caves, I think. If I go into monsters, I have gone into the Myelite. I wonder if I've cleared it out. Probably not. I don't have the pet, at least. So I'll have to start working on that. And let's see, we need combat, perilous peaks, dark waters, attack, and ranged, and I was thinking there was another one there. It's really early. So then this is all the higher end content here. Aside from, yeah, this is all like higher end content. Yep. So that is pretty much what we're going to do. There is a bunch of monsters that I haven't killed, but they are all into the higher end stuff. Of course, I can do these Ellerin guys and clear those out. But yeah, basically that is going to be my future, is going in through the Dragon's Den, gearing up my ranged guy, and then I can go forward on. Of course, while I'm doing that, it's going to be building up my magic, but it's also going to keep me from working on Slayer. Once I get my range guy leveled up, then I can come back and start working on Slayer again and go back to these tasks, work on this, get my coin built up. I don't think I need to buy anything from the Slayer side yet. I'm holding off on Auto Slayer. I've accidentally clicked that a few times on mobile, and I don't want to do that. But I also need 3 million for this. We're going to need, a couple 100,000 for this. The skull capes. I have to buy the skull cape. I have to buy the green party hat. Let's see. We also have to have enough money that once the Slayer task is done, I have to upgrade all the gear that I have. So we're going to need a bunch of Slayer coins. So hanging on to all that for now. Letting that build up. We'll see where we go. So at any rate, that will do it for this episode. That's where we're at, and that's where we're going. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.